Hello everyone, warm welcome to Super Coaching Regulatory Bodies YouTube channel by Testbook। मेरा नाम है माधव अरोड़ा। मैं आप सबका हार्दिक स्वागत करता हूं एक नए और एक important सेशन में where we are going to cover the finance current affairs। In today's session we will be discussing in much detail regarding the 19th to 21st of February 2025 और इन दिनों में जो भी आरबीआई अपडेट्स थी, आरबीआई रिलीज थी, आरबीआई सर्कुलर्स थे, वो डिस्कस करेंगे और उसके अलावा जो भी फाइनेंशियल अपडेट्स हैं दे ऑल विल बी डिस्कस्ड इन दिस पर्टिकुलर सेशन इटसेल्फ। Before I start the discussion, may I have a reply in the comment section that yes, I'm audible, visible, everything is fine. We are good to go ताकि बिना किसी देरी के आज के सेशन की शुरुआत करें। And I can ensure you in this session you are going to learn many new things। एंड आज का जो सेशन है वो काफी इंपॉर्टेंट रहने वाला है और अगर आप चाहते हैं इस सेशन की पीडीएफ को डाउनलोड करना तो इस पर्टिकुलर लिंक पर जाकर इस कोड को आप स्कैन कीजिए एंड यू विल बी लैंडिंग ऑन दी टेलीग्राम चैनल और इस चैनल से आप इस सेशन की पीडीएफ को डाउनलोड कर सकते हैं। तो ये जो सेशन है दिस इज डेडिकेटेड सेशन फॉर फाइनेंस करंट अफेयर्स फॉर आरबीआई ग्रेड बी। सो इफ यू आर प्रिपेयरिंग फॉर आरबीआई ग्रेड बी examination, this is the must watch session guys। Today in this particular session we will be discussing all the important news related to finance current affairs। ठीक है जी, स्टार्ट करें आज के सेशन को बिना किसी देरी के। तो आइए जरा पहले क्वेश्चन के साथ आज के सेशन की शुरुआत करेंगे। द फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन इज नाउ ऑन योर स्क्रीन। क्या कहता है क्वेश्चन, ध्यान से देखिएगा। सो द क्वेश्चन सेज व्हाट इज द key proposal in the draft guidelines issued by Reserve Bank of India regarding floating rate loans for retail as well as MSME borrowers। So recently एक न्यूज थी, वो न्यूज ये थी कि आरबीआई ने एक सर्कुलर दिया। उस सर्कुलर में आरबीआई ने ये कहा है कि दी आरबीआई हैज प्रेजेंटेड द ड्राफ्ट गाइडलाइंस, एक ड्राफ्ट दिया रिगार्डिंग द गाइडलाइंस रिलेटेड टू द फ्लोटिंग लोन और उस फ्लोटिंग लोन पे क्या पेनल्टी चार्ज होगा क्या नहीं होगा उसके रिगार्डिंग एक ड्राफ्ट आया है। अब उसी ड्राफ्ट को दिमाग में रखते हुए आरबीआई ने एक नया अपडेट दिया, उस नए अपडेट को डिस्कस करेंगे और उसके बाद इसी क्वेश्चन पे वापस आएंगे एंड विल फाइंड आउट द करेक्ट आंसर फॉर द गिवन क्वेश्चन। आई होप यू ऑल आर रेडी। लेट्स try to discuss this news first and then we will be coming back on the same question so that we can answer the question for sure। तो आइए जरा प्लीज पे अटेंशन ऑन द स्क्रीन। दिस इज व्हाट यू कैन सी ऑन 21st ऑफ फरवरी। आरबीआई ने एक प्रेस रिलीज दिया है और उसमें आरबीआई ने कहा है कि आरबीआई इज इनवाइटिंग कमेंट्स ऑन ड्राफ्ट सर्कुलर ऑन रिस्पॉन्सिबल लेंडिंग कंडक्ट दैट आर द चार्जेस which are going to be charged or the prepayment penalties which are going to be charged on the loans। तो यहां पर आरबीआई ने कहा है कि आरबीआई इज इनवाइटिंग, आरबीआई इज आस्किंग द स्टेक होल्डर्स कि आप अपने सजेशंस आरबीआई को लिख सकते हैं और आप अपने सजेशंस आरबीआई को लिख सकते हैं बाय 21st ऑफ मार्च 2025 थ्रू एन ईमेल। और आपके ये जो सजेशंस हैं दैट विल बी टेकन इनटू कंसिडरेशन बिफोर आरबीआई फाइनलाइज द ड्राफ्ट। और ये ड्राफ्ट किस कॉन्टेक्स्ट का है या किस से रिलेटेड है? सर ये जो ड्राफ्ट है जिसके बारे में डिस्कशन हो रही है, सर दिस ड्राफ्ट इज बेसिकली रिलेटेड टू द पेनल्टी जो कि चार्ज की जाती है ऑन द फोरक्लोजर और प्रीपेमेंट penalty on the loan। What I'm trying to say, let's suppose you have borrowed a loan for 10 years and now if you are closing down, if you are completing your loan before 10 years, in that particular scenario bank comes up with a penalty and bank charge that penalty on the customer। अब उस पेनल्टी को लेकर आरबीआई ने एक नॉर्म दी और आरबीआई ने कहा कि नहीं सर, हम आपको एक ड्राफ्ट गाइडलाइंस दे रहे हैं और उन ड्राफ्ट गाइडलाइंस के अकॉर्डिंग अब ये जो पेनल्टी है दैट इज नॉट गोइंग टू बी चार्ज, बट दैट इज नॉट द फाइनल गाइडलाइन। जो ड्राफ्ट आया था उसी ड्राफ्ट पे अब आरबीआई ने क्या मांगा है, आपसे सजेशंस मांगे हैं। तो आइए जरा इस न्यूज को थोड़ा डिटेल में डिस्कस करते हैं। इफ यू विल सी दिस प्रेस रिलीज, फर्स्ट थिंग व्हाट यू विल डू, सो यू विल क्लिक ऑन दिस लिंक दैट इज स्टेटमेंट ऑन डेवलपमेंट एंड रेगुलेटरी पॉलिसीज। तो अक्टूबर 9 2024 there were some statement on development and regulatory policies, and in those statement on developmental and regulatory policies this proposal has been given that yes, RBI is working on the current guidelines related to banks as well as NBFCs, where banks and NBFCs will not be allowed to charge any penalty in case of foreclosure of loan. Foreclosure of loan means if you are closing down your loan, if you are completing your loan before time, especially in case of what kind of loan? So that is floating loan. In what kind of loan? That is floating loan. And this will be applicable not only on your personal loans, but it will be applicable now on business loans which are related to micro and small enterprises. So आइए, let's try to find out in detail. Let's try to find out in detail the draft circular. So the draft circular says responsible lending conduct, levy of foreclosure charges or prepayment penalties on loans. So a draft circular has been presented, and this circular has been forwarded or applicable to all the scheduled commercial banks except cooperative banks. It is applicable to all local area banks, all primary cooperative banks, all state cooperative banks, as well as all NBFCs and all India फाइनेंशियल इंस्टीट्यूट. तो जब भी कभी आरबीआई कोई सर्कुलर प्रेजेंट करता है तो आरबीआई उसमें एक लिस्ट देता है दैट दिस सर्कुलर, दिस गाइडलाइन इज गोइंग टू बी वैलिड on which all institute. So this is not a final circular, but it is a draft circular which has been presented by RBI, and this draft circular is going to be applicable on all these banks which have been mentioned on the screen. अब इसमें आपको क्या क्या चीजें ध्यान में रखनी है? Please pay attention. Each and every point which I'm going to discuss with you is really very important, and direct question will be asked in the examination. So what does it say? It says that regulated entities are not permitted. Regulated entities means banks which are regulated by RBI, NBFCs which are regulated by RBI, they are not permitted to charge any kind of charges in case of foreclosure loan or in case of prepayment of a loan when a loan is floating rate loan. So I hope you remember we have discussed in this session only that we have two types of loan. One is known as fixed rate loan and the other one is known as floating rate loan. Fixed rate loan basically means a type of loan in which lending rate is going to be fixed at the time of lending, and that rate of interest is going to be charged for the entire tenure of loan. We call that type of loan as fixed loan. Second is floating loan. So floating loan is a type of loan in which lending rate is revised by the bank over the period of time. This revision is done because of external benchmark revisions. For example, your loan is based on external benchmark, that is repo rate. If RBI changes the repo rate, your lending rates will change. If your loan is based on internal benchmark, if bank's cost of operation increases, if bank's margin values increases, then again your lending rate will change. So depending upon the scenario, that whether it is external benchmark or internal benchmark based lending rate, if your lending rate is going to be changed or it is going to be volatile in your loan tenure, that type of loan is known as floating loan. Recently there was an update. There was a circular given by RBI where RBI said that bank will provide every type of loan in floating loan format, as well as bank should also offer every type of loan in the fixed loan format as well. Second point was, now the customer is allowed to shift from fixed to floating or from floating to fixed, and even if you have taken the loan under the fixed loan category, you can shift to floating, and even you can go back to fixed loan depending upon the customer's requirement, but charges will be charged if you want to shift, and the number of times you will be allowed to shift, that will be decided by the board of the bank, by the board of the regulated entities. I hope you remember that we have discussed this entire scenario. Say yes or no. Say yes or no. Do you remember that we have discussed this circular related to fixed loan as well as floating loan? Now, keeping that in mind, first thing which you need to remember is, sir, RBI do not ask the bank to RBI is not involved in case of fixed loan. That means if it is a fixed loan and you are pre-closing the loan, you are completing your loan before time, banks can charge penalty. There is no issue in that. But in case of floating loan, bank is not allowed to charge any kind of penalty, and Which loan I'm talking about? Floating loan. In which category? Personal loan. Personal loan includes education loan, home loan. They all are included in the category of personal loan. This is the scenario till now. So the first point is regulated entities, they are not permitted to charge any kind of penalty in case of foreclosure of loan for the purpose other than business. So if you have borrowed a loan other than business purpose, no penalty will be charged. This is the first point which has been introduced in the draft circular, and even I would say it is applicable before this draft as well. Second point says that micro and small enterprises, they are most important segment of the Indian economy in terms of their export contribution as well as their labor contribution and their GDP contribution. So keeping this in mind, RBI and government is trying its level best to increase the access of credit facility to the micro and small enterprises, as well as ease out the process of credit and provide credit at low rates or cheaper rates. This is the agenda of RBI as well as government in order to push, in order to promote micro and small enterprises in the country. But it has been witnessed that many banks, they are deliberately, or many regulated entities, they are deliberately charging extra charges on micro and small enterprises in case of loan facility provided to them, especially in case of foreclosure of loan. In case of closing the loan before time, penalty is charged on micro and small enterprises. Here is the point where RBI came into the picture, and RBI said, sir, based on the review of the supervisory findings and industry feedback received, it has been decided to issue revised regulations to all the regulated entities regarding the charges they are going to charge on foreclosure of the loan. So what are these revised guidelines? Sir, the first revised guideline is the same, that in case of loan which is other than business loan, other than business purpose loan, no penalty will be charged. No penalty will be charged in case of pre-closure of the loan, in case of foreclosure of the loan, and this is going to be valid only and only on the floating loan. This is going to be valid only and only on the floating loan. But here comes a bonanza. The bonanza says regulated entities except, there are exceptions, regulated entities except tier 1 and tier 2 primary cooperative banks. I hope you remember tier 1 and tier 2 primary cooperative banks, they are categorized on the basis of deposits they have, and the base layer NBFCs. So tier 1 and tier 2 primary urban cooperative banks as well as base layer NBFCs, except these three categories of bank, no other regulated entity will charge any kind of penalty on micro and small enterprises in case of foreclosure of loan, if the loan value is up to 7.5 crores. So if the loan value is up to 7.5 crores and the loan is borrowed by micro and small medium enterprises, then except tier 1 and tier 2 primary urban cooperative banks and base layer NBFCs, no penalty will be charged by any other regulated entity on pre-closure of loan which is borrowed by micro and small enterprises. But there is a catch. The catch is loan limit is up to 7.5 crores. If the loan is above 7.5 crores in that particular scenario, penalty can be charged. Moving on to the next point, applicability. So this above instruction is applicable on floating loan. It is applicable on floating loan, and let's suppose you have borrowed fixed as well as floating loan. That means a loan which has dual character, fixed and floating. In the initial stage it is going to be fixed and in the later stage it is going to be floating. That is possible, and these kind of I would say products are generally provided by the banks. So in that particular scenario, whether the penalty will be charged or not, it is going to depend on the structure, on the scenario, that at the time of pre-closure of loan, whether it was in the category of floating or fixed. If the loan is under the category of fixed, then penalty will be charged. But if it is under the category of floating, no penalty is going to be charged by the regulated entities. Next point says, in other cases, if any kind of penalty is going to be charged, that penalty value is going to be decided by the board approved policies. Finally, regulated entities will permit foreclosure or prepayment of loan without any minimum lock-in period. So you can close down, you can pre-close your loan, you can foreclose your loan without any minimum locking period. So these are the revised guidelines which you need to remember, related to what? So related to the charges on foreclosure of loan or charges on the pre-closure of the loan. Is it clear, everyone? Is this point clear? If this point is clear, just give me yes sir, so that we can move ahead and we can answer the question which I have presented in the starting of this session. So the question is now on your screen. The question says, what is the key proposal in the draft guideline issued by RBI regarding floating rate loans for retail and MSME borrowers? First point, RBI proposes to increase the foreclosure charges. Wrong. RBI proposes to remove the foreclosure charges on floating rate loans for retail and MSME borrowers, including those for business purposes. That is true. RBI proposes to impose higher prepayment penalty. No. RBI proposes to allow only, no sir, tier 1, tier 2 primary cooperative banks as well as base layer NBFCs are allowed to impose foreclosure charges on floating rate loan, and that too only on micro small enterprises. RBI proposes to limit floating rate loans for MSME borrower up to 5 crore. No sir, this limit is 7.5 crores. According to this, answer is going to be which option? So B option is the correct answer. Is it clear, everyone? Is it clear, everyone? Do reply in the comment section if it is clear the entire point which I have discussed with you regarding foreclosure of loan, the recent revised guidelines which have been issued by RBI. If it is clear, just give me yes sir, so that we can move ahead. If it is clear, quickly give me yes sir, so that we can move ahead. The next news is again really very important. Okay, now let's move on to the next news. The next update is related to a penalty which has been charged by RBI. So the question is, why did Reserve Bank of India impose monetary penalties on Citibank as well as Asirvad Microfinance and JM Financial Home Loans? So before we answer this, let's try to decode the entire news. What is the news all about? So Reserve Bank of India has recently imposed monetary penalties. Why I have included this news? Why this news is important? Because we have some of the important banks right now. We have Citibank, which is important. So RBI has charged penalty on Citibank, Asirvad Microfinance and JM Financial Home Loan. RBI action was based basically on the supervisory findings following a statutory inspection of the company's financial position as of March 2023 for Citibank and Asirvad Microfinance, and 31st March 2022 is the financial position for JM Financial Home Loans. So what is the penalty value and why the penalty value is charged? Please pay attention on the screen. It's going to be really very important. So Citibank was fined what amount? So Citibank was charged with a penalty of 39 lakhs for reporting breaches in large exposure limits with delay and failing to upload rectified data within 7 days of receiving rejection reports from credit information companies. We all know that every bank, or I would say every regulated entity, is need to be registered with at least one credit information company. So Citibank has reported the large loans given by the bank, but there were certain issues with the report, and once the report was rejected by CIC, then bank is liable, or the regulated entity is liable to upload or to submit the rectified report within 7 days. But unfortunately Citibank do not fulfill the criteria, due to which 39 lakh rupees of penalty has been charged. Second point is Asirvad Microfinance was penalized 6.20 lakh. Penalty was charged and the penalty value was 6.20 lakh for failing to report household income of certain borrowers. So again, Asirvad Microfinance has not reported the household income of certain borrowers to CIC. We all know that microfinance means microfinance is allowed to provide loan only to those households which possess their yearly income up to 3 lakhs. So if they have not reported the yearly income to CICs, again for that particular purpose, this penalty has been charged. Moving on to the third category. The third point is JM Financial Home Loans. So JM Financial Home Loans was fined, or the penalty of 1.50 lakh rupees was charged for failing to disclose its approach for gradation of risk and rationale for different interest rates for different borrower categories. So company do not communicated all the sanction letters and application form, due to which the penalty has been charged. So if I check out the question, so the question says penalty on Citibank is 39 lakh rupees. Penalty on Asirvad Finance is 6.20 lakh. It is 6.20 lakh rupees. And penalty on JM Finance is 1.50 lakh. If you ask me, out of all, the most important one is Citibank. So Citibank has presented its report to Credit Information Company, but the norms or the report was rejected by CIC. After the rejection, regulated entity is supposed to submit, or I would say rectify the report within 7 days. That was not done, due to which this penalty has been charged as per the 31st March 2023 data. First point, so the penalty has been charged for failing to meet the minimum capital requirement, no. For violating regulatory norms as per RBI supervisory findings, okay. For refusing to provide loans to, no. For delaying tax payment, no. For engaging in fraud activities, no. So this penalty has been charged because these three regulated entities, they have violated regulatory norms as per RBI supervisory findings. So the answer to this particular question is going to be B option. Is it clear, everyone? Is it clear, everyone? Is it clear, everyone? If it is clear till this point, just give me yes, sir. If it is clear till this point, just give me yes, sir. Let's move on to the next news. Okay, let's jump on to the next news, guys. The next news is really very important. RBI has launched Financial Literacy Week 2025. So this is the latest news. RBI has announced, or RBI has launched the Financial Literacy Week. This is not the first time this week has been celebrated. The week is going to be celebrated by RBI. Rather, this week is celebrated every year since 2016, and this time it is the 10th edition of Financial Literacy Week, and this time the announcement was made by the newly appointed 26th Governor of RBI. The name is Sanjay Malhotra. The next point, which is important, so what is the theme of this particular week? Financial Literacy Week theme is financial literacy, women's prosperity. Remember that. What is the theme? So the theme of 10th Financial Literacy Week 2025, the theme of Financial Literacy Week 2025 is financial literacy, women's power, prosperity. That means in this particular week, again, we are focusing on women empowerment, and we are going to achieve the targets of women empowerment by providing them with financial literacy. So this week is going to be observed from 24th to 28th of February 2025. The top management and the regional heads of the Reserve Bank as well as NABARD were present at the time of announcement, at the time of introducing, or I would say launching, this particular week. Governor Sanjay Malhotra ji, he has underlined that there is a need for empowering women to enhance their participation in driving inclusive, sustained economic growth. So in order to achieve inclusive and sustained economic growth, women participation is must, and in order to enhance the women participation, women literacy is very much required. So as a part of this the Financial Literacy Week, RBI will undertake multimedia campaign on the same theme along with the help of banks so that financial inclusion, financial literacy, financial instrument related information can be delivered to the public. When I was going through with this particular news, I came across with few more important things which I would like to discuss with you. So the moment I was checking out the Financial Literacy Week, I came across a term that is financial education and RBI. We know this very well that financial inclusion as well as financial education are the two important elements of Reserve Bank of India, which is going to play a very important role in the development of the nation. So RBI has created, please pay attention, RBI has created a critical volume of literature. RBI has created critical volume of literature, and that too in 13 languages. Very important. Very important. It is available in 13 languages, which is available for banks and other stakeholders, where you can download that literature, means you can download that book, you can download that particular piece of information, and which will help you, or it will enhance your financial literacy. The aim is basically to create awareness about the financial products, services, good financial practices, and doing digital and consumer protection. Remember that Financial Literacy Week, which is going to be observed from 24th to 28th of February 2025, the message which is going to be presented include financial planning, focusing women, saving and risk management, again focusing women, and availing credit for growth, again focusing women. Now you must be wondering, sir, how these three themes, or I would say the three targets, are going to be achieved focusing women. So this is how RBI is going to focus. The first point, that is related to savings. As you read the first one, that is financial planning. So it talks about salaries credited. You must save your salary, you must invest your salary, you must plan for emergency. Even you can utilize it to purchase jewelry, party and vacation. So this is how they are helping the women to manage their finances, to plan their finances. Second point is business loan approved, that is upgrade your machine, borrow as per your needs, pay your loan in EMIs. That means the third part, that is availing credit for growth. Last but not the least is after monthly household expense, again you are in a position to save 5,000 rupees. So financial planning for household, saving and risk management for working women, availing credit for growth for the working women again. So these are the three, I would say, posters which are going to be used by RBI in this week to promote financial literacy with the theme Financial Literacy, Women's Prosperity. Got it, guys? Clear? Now, moving on to the next point. Whenever we talk about financial literacy related to RBI, there are few terms which you need to remember. The first is FAME. If someone asks you what is FAME, so FAME stands for Financial Literacy Material. This financial literacy material, Reserve Bank has released the 4th edition of financial awareness messages, or I would say the financial literacy material booklet has been released. And in the latest released booklet, financial literacy content is now targeting new 5 groups. So the new target of, or I would say RBI's new 5 target groups are farmers, small entrepreneurs, small children, self-help groups, as well as senior citizen. Along with that, 2 posters have been revealed for UPI payments. One is Unified Payment Interface and the other one is *99#. If you remember, in the yesterday's finance session at 8 p.m. we were discussing about the *99#. So RBI has released the posters for this as well. So this is the entire update related to the Financial Literacy Week. So what kind of question can be asked? Financial Literacy Week is celebrated since 2016. First question. This year it is which edition? Then your answer would be it is the 10th edition. What is the theme? Financial literacy, women's prosperity is the theme. What are the target segments? So the target segments are financial planning, saving and risk management, as well as focus area will be availing credit for growth. Remember, what is FAME? So FAME is financial literacy material, or we call it as financial awareness message booklet. So financial awareness message booklet, 4th edition has been launched. Along with this, few new target groups have been identified: farmers, small entrepreneurs, school children, self-help groups, and senior citizen. These are the 2 new posters related to UPI as well as star 99 hash. So this is the entire update related to Financial Literacy Week 2025. There is one more important point related to financial literacy. RBI is trying its level best to achieve the targets of financial literacy, for which RBI has set up first centers for financial literacy. So centers for financial literacy are basically set up in collaboration of NGOs and sponsor bank. They are set up at block level. That means one center for financial literacy to about 3 blocks. There are camps conducted for individuals aged between 18 to 60 years. They are free of charge, where financial literacy is provided. Then we have financial literacy centers. So financial literacy centers are set up by lead bank of the district. It conducts camps for farmers, micro entrepreneurs. They conduct camps, more specific camps, I would say, which are conducted for newly targeted group: farmers, micro entrepreneurs, self-help group, school children, and senior citizen. They conduct camps on digital financial literacy, and these camps are also free of charge. So financial literacy centers for financial literacy, these are the important segments which you need to remember. Financial literacy centers are set up by NGOs and sponsor banks, but financial literacy centers are set up by lead bank in that particular district. If the entire news is clear, just give me yes sir, so that we can move on to the next news. If the entire news is clear, just give me yes sir, so that we can move on to the next news, which is again really very important. So can you please explain at least one day in a week, one descriptive question answer related? Yes, Falak, we can start that for sure. We will be starting it pretty soon, and if you want, we can do it every Sunday from next week onwards. Not this coming Sunday, but next Sunday, not the coming Sunday, but from next Sunday, we will start practicing the descriptive answer as well, where I will be discussing descriptive answer for finance. Will give you the, I would say, I'll provide you with the sample answers as well for the given question, which will help you a lot. Is it clear now? Is it clear now? Shall we move ahead? Okay, let's move on to the next news. The next question I have is, recently, former Reserve Bank of India's governor, Shaktikanta Dasji, is appointed as Principal Secretary to Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji. Under Shaktikanta Das' leadership, India's NPA ratio declined from 10.8 to what percent in September 2024. So what I'm trying to do is, I'm here to discuss that yes, Shaktikanta Dasji is now being appointed as Principal Secretary to Narendra Modi ji, Honorable Prime Minister. But in order to deliver that news, I'm coming up with a more extended data, which I would love to hear from you all, that as per September 2024, India's scheduled commercial bank NPAs have reached, gross NPA values has reached all-time low, or I would say 12-year lowest, and the value is 2.6%. And the value is 2.6%. So the former governor has been appointed. Remember that under his expertise, he has managed economic challenges such as trade war, rupee volatility, slowing growth. He was the governor of RBI during the COVID-19 scenario from 2018 to 2024. So COVID-19 was the part of his tenure itself, and in this you need to remember that yes, gross NPA have been decreased from around 10 lakh crores to 4 lakh 75,000 crore, which has reduced to 2.8% as of March 2024. In June it was 2.67%, and in September 2024 it has dropped down to 2.6%. So you need to remember this data. This is really very important. Got it, guys? Now, let's move on to the last news of the day. And I'm pretty sure you must have heard about this particular news, but we will be discussing more integrities related to the same. So the news is RBI has released a new application, and the name of that application is RBI Data. And the name of that application is RBI Data. I don't know how many of you are aware of this particular news, but if you are preparing for RBI examination, then you must have gone through with all these nitty-gritties. So in that particular scenario, you need to focus on RBI Data. So RBI Data is the new application which has been launched by RBI, and you can yourself download this application, which is available for Android users as well as iOS users. This application is basically to provide access to the data, especially to the macroeconomic data of the nation, and this access will be provided to everyone out there in the economy. So RBI has launched a new application. The name is RBI Data. This is a mobile application which will help you with macroeconomic and financial statistics related to Indian economy in a very user-friendly and visually engaging format. That means the format is going to be pretty engaging. Everyone can understand the data easily, and this application is going to be user friendly. You can easily access the application and you can find out the appropriate data. Now let's check out the key features. The first key feature is you can access around 11,000. You can access around 11,000 different series of economic data to give a comprehensive view of Indian economy. So basically, a student preparing for RBI Grade B exam or NABARD Grade A or maybe SEBI, they always come up with the statement कि सर डेटा कहाँ से लें, रिपोर्ट्स कहाँ से पढ़ें, रिपोर्ट्स का एनालिसिस कहाँ से करें, कौन सा डेटा हमारे लिए इंपॉर्टेंट है, क्या डेटा पढ़ें, सोर्स क्या होनी चाहिए डेटा की. RBI has given answer to all those queries. RBI say that yes, if you are looking forward for data, not only for your exam preparation but for your day-to-day understanding, then the data will be available on the application named RBI Data, and you will get access to around 11,000 different series of economic data. Now user can view time series data. Time series data means the data which is extended for many years. That means you can check the data for past years as well as you can check the data for the current year. That means year-wise data will be available, and this data will be available in the form of graphs. It will be available in the form of graphs, charts, which will be easy for a user like you and me to understand what is the actual trend. Secondly, it will help us to analyze the data well, and even you can download the data. Even you can download the graph, you can download the data for your future references as well. This app includes details such as data source, what is the source of this data which we are providing to you. They discuss in detail the unit of measurement, frequency, recent update, as well as the additional notes are provided. For example, this is the graph. In the graph itself, they have provided gross value added at basic price. Here they have given the time period which can go up till 10 years. Source has been given, frequency has been given, that this data is for annual. That means per year basis, this data has been provided. So this is how the entire application is going to work, and they will give you the extra information so that you can understand the data pretty well. Moving on to the fourth feature, very important. Popular reports section features a series of frequently viewed reports. So all the important reports, now all these important reports will be available at a single stop point, or I would say at a single point, and that point is going to be known as RBI Data. And in the RBI Data itself, there is a section. You just click on these three lines. The moment you click on these three lines, a drop box will be available, and on the drop box just click on popular reports, and you can view the list of popular reports which are available in this application itself. Along with this, you enjoy search option like you enjoy on YouTube, where you search Finance Current Affairs by Madhav Sir. Similarly, now you can use the same search box in this application to search the report or data or the publications you are looking forward. Not only this, if you're shifting to a new city, and you want to find out the nearest banking outlets, then the information to the nearest banking outlets will be provided. It will provide you the list of all the banking outlets which are available within 20 kilometers of your location. So this is also provided. Seventh important point is, this application will not only provide data for the Indian economy, rather it will provide data for South Asian Association for Regional Cooperation, SAARC nations. We all know that we have 8 countries in SAARC group, in SAARC Cooperation Unit, which include MBBS Spain, So this is the way to remember: Nepal, India, Afghanistan, Pakistan, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, Bhutan, Maldives. So these are the 8 countries which are included in the category of SAARC. This application will offer quick access to the database on Indian economy, which will be available on this portal. And lastly, this application, as I said, it is available on iOS as well as Android. Last but not the least, which is the most important, I would say, feature these days, that is, you can even submit your feedback on the same. That means there will be a feedback portal where you can give your name, email ID, and then you can share your feedback regarding a data whichever you are checking on the application, or you can even give the suggestion related to the application which you are using. So this is all about your RBI data application which has been launched recently. So what all news you need to remember over here? So the news which you need to remember over here is, first news is very important, that is the RBI has come up with a draft guidelines related to the floating rate loan pre-closure penalties. Now no pre-closure penalty will be charged by the regulated entities of RBI in case of pre-closure of loan. Which type of loan? Floating loan. If the loan is falling under the personal loan category, as well as if it is borrowed by micro and small enterprises, but there is a condition: loan value should be up to 7.5 crores. Otherwise penalty will be charged. Even in this entire structure, tier 1, tier 2 primary cooperative banks are not included. Even base layer NBFCs are not included. There is no minimum lock-in period to pre-close your loan. Next, Citibank, Asirvad Microfinance and JM Financial Home Loans witness monetary penalty which has been charged. Remember that. Lastly, you need to remember, RBI has announced Financial Literacy Week. This is not the first time. It has been announced since 2016. This time, 10th edition of this week has been announced. What is the theme? Financial literacy, women's prosperity is the theme. Along with this theme, you need to remember, RBI is going to focus on these 3 areas: financial planning, saving and risk management, availing credit. And these 3 focus areas will be focusing on women prosperity. And these are the, I would say, graphics which are going to be used by RBI in the upcoming days to go. Then if I talk about FAME, it stands for Financial Awareness Message Booklet. 4th edition of this booklet has been introduced, which has included 5 target groups, new 5 target groups: farmers, small entrepreneurs, small children, self-help groups, as well as senior citizen. And these are the 2 new posters which have been announced for UPI as well as *99#. Got it? Then we talked about Shaktikanta Dasji, who has been appointed as the Principal Secretary second to Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji. And lastly, we discussed about RBI Data mobile application which has been launched recently by RBI, and it will be available on both the portals, that is Android as well as iOS. If you want to download the PDF of this session, just scan the code which is mentioned on the screen. And before I conclude, quickly hit the like button. Now, as you all know, this is the time to give you the homework. And the moment we talk about your homework, please pay attention. Homework is going to be, in the next class, I will be discussing a very important news. But before I discuss that news, in the comment section, I want you all to comment what is spot price what is spot price, near leg and far leg with respect to foreign exchange, with respect to currency swap. So go check the definition for all these three, and once you are clear with the three term definitions, once you are clear with the three terms, all the three term definition, then I would request you to share the definitions in the comment section, but do not copy and paste the definition. Rather, I would request you write the definition for all these three terms in your own words. So first one, spot price, near leg, far leg, related to forex, that is foreign exchange or currency swap agreements. Is it clear? So that will be all, guys, for this particular session. We'll be catching you all. Do not forget to hit the like button before leaving, and do share the answer of the given question in the comment section below, and I will be replying to each and every comment. Whosoever will be making the right comment, I will be mentioning it. If you will make some mistake, I'll mention you in the comment itself. Okay, so that will be all, guys. We'll catch you in the next session. Akash, I'll just check it once. If the PDF for the Saturday session is not shared, I will be sharing it as well. Thank you so much. Good luck. God bless you all. Take care. See you soon, guys. Bye-bye.